wisdom. Ancient wisdom in the modern context. Because ancient wisdom has so much to offer to us. Actually, it is a complete manual of life. And one who gains this wisdom becomes extremely powerful. Because each and every one of you sitting here, you should understand that you have infinite powers within you. You are not a finite person who is sitting with finite powers, but you have infinite powers. You know, last year I was invited by a multinational to give a talk, a seminar. It was a half-a-day seminar on how to awaken the giant from within. This was what they wanted to know for the top management. It was a very apt topic because all of you are already leaders. You're all already successful. Then where does this ancient wisdom come into the picture? I'll explain to you. Now, everyone is very much technically qualified. You have your degrees, you have your MBAs, whatever be the degrees. But the question is, when you go and sit on the chair in your office room every day morning, how much of your personality is present where your body is? This is the question. Even right now, you are sitting on the chair. Your body is sitting on the chair. But how much of you are present? What do I mean by this? Invariably, you will find that 25% of your energies will be with the past worries. When you go in the morning to office, 25% of your energies, of your mind will be with past worries. I'm just giving a number like 25, it could be more also. Then another 25 to 40% of your mind will be with future anxieties. What's going to happen tomorrow? Another major portion of your personality will be with present excitements. Whatever be the present challenge, that itself would be causing tremendous stress in your mind. So if you calculate all this, you will find that you hardly use 5% or 10% of what your real potential is. Because the rest is all dissipated into the past, into the future, and the excitements of the present. And that is exactly where I come in. Because you're all technically qualified, but when you add this ancient wisdom to your management studies, now you would be able to use your talents, your skills to the best of your ability. And unfortunately, this is not being taught in any management school today. In any schools or universities you go, they teach about everything. They teach about the world. But one thing they don't teach about is how to master yourself. I will not stop with even self-management. Self-management is also not the correct word. Because managing, learning to manage something means we are saying there is a problem, we can't solve it. Like how they say, diabetes, they say is not curable. But you learn to manage it. That is not what I'm talking about. But this ancient science of self-mastery is the need of the hour. Because when we are talking about how to lead the way, which means leading others, the first thing is you have to learn to lead yourself. And unless you lead yourself and you become an inspiring, towering personality, it is not possible to be effective externally. Because the law is any external power should be preceded by the internal power. If you put the reverse, if you try to get external power without developing yourself, you will end up with tremendous stress. And that is what is happening today. See, if you analyze the world today, you will find only two kinds of people. People who are very successful, dynamic, who are active, productive, especially if you go to the West and the urban areas of the East. Lot of productivity is there. But if you ask them, their minds are highly stressed. Do you know that a drug called Prozac was the highest selling drug in the United States till a few years back? Do you know what Prozac is for? Does anybody know here? Huh? Sorry? Sorry? It's an antidepressant basically. It's an antidepressant. WHO has declared this the previous year as a year of depression. And they want to organize a huge conference for all the psychologists and different leaders of, from the world, because they find that the suicidal tendencies are very high today, especially in the corporate world and even in the army, I believe. Why? Why is the stress so high? What is the highest selling drug in India? Okay, we were talking about US. What is the highest selling drug in India? I genuinely don't know. I'm asking you. I don't think it will be an antidepressant yet. Probably a painkiller or something. That is why we are still called an advancing nation. The day we come to Prozac level, we'll also be declared an advanced nation, you know. This is how it has become. The stress factor is very high, but the positive is that they are very, very active, dynamic. On the other hand, you will find the other set of people who are relatively stress-free, who are happy, peaceful. Especially if you go to the rural areas of the East. What stress do they have? Supposing you organize a stress management seminar for me in a place like outskirts, you know, like Arakonam or somewhere, first I will become stressed. Because we have to introduce the concept of stress to them. They are very happy, you know. So, on one hand you find they are stress-free, but the productivity is missing. The action is missing, the dynamism. So, now the question is there a technique by which we can combine these two? Can you be very, very dynamic externally, active, productive, and at the same time, can you maintain your inner poise, your inner calmness? Is it possible? And the answer is an emphatic yes. And that is what is this ancient wisdom all about. The science of self-mastery. See, in this very this is a lifetime research for me. So, he has said 20 minutes, you know. So, it's very difficult to cover the whole thing. Because just on leadership itself, I have a few day seminars. It's called multi-dimensional leadership. So I'll just cover one or two points and then probably we'll open it for questions. Now, if you want to be an effective leader, you need to learn this technique of mastering action with peace. You know, wherever I go, they ask me, "Sir, are you a yogi?" I say yes. So the general concept they think is yogi means one who stands upside down. Now I say, no, I have 2 legs to walk. I mean, that's not required for me. What does it mean by yoga? Yoga means, it's clearly defined in our ancient wisdom. Yoga has these two aspects. Samatvam means balance of mind, and karma kaushalam means dynamism or skill in action. And unless you combine these two, you cannot be an effective leader. Number one. Number two, the second aspect of leading the way from inside. See, I'm giving you a different approach. One is to give various techniques of how to lead others. But all that will fail if you don't have control over yourself, if you're not conquered yourself. As a great thinker said, conquer your mind, you conquer the world, he said. So the second aspect, which is very, very important, is power. Power behind your actions. The same action, 4 people may perform, but the power behind the actions will be varying. Who is most effective? Just as in cricket, the same stroke 4 batsmen will be playing. But for one batsman it goes maximum. For the other batsman the ball stops here. There is some other factor. What is that? We'll just quickly see that. The power behind your actions comes from your inner personality, and there are 4 to 5 aspects within you. That's what I'm calling as multi-dimensional leadership. Because today leadership is dealt with in a unidimensional way. Why am I saying this is multi-dimensional leadership is because each one of you are a multi-dimensional personality. First of all, the first aspect of your personality is the physical body. You have the physical body which performs various actions. Now, if I were to ask you, do you know your body? Do you know your body 100%? I'm not asking you actually. Even if you say yes, I can prove it to you quickly that you don't even know to use the body. There is a misuse of the body happening, especially in the corporate world. Why when they had invited me for this, I agreed, I accepted this, was because I have this message to give to the corporate world. So much of training programs are happening. It's wonderful. But all the training is limited to mere external principles which will give you immediate relief, quick fixes, But the ancient wisdom is not about giving you immediate relief. It is about permanent cure. If you were to take your body itself, your body is made up of trillions of cells, and each cell, the memory of each cell, which the scientists have discovered, is around 8 to 10 GB. So you have about 120 trillion cells and you multiply it into 8 GB. That is the memory of what? Of your hard disk. And all your emotions, your stress, your happiness, your peace, the counterpart, the physical counterpart, they are all stored in what they call as intracellular memory in your body itself. And when you're loaded with stress factors in your body, then your body becomes inefficient to act. It's become more, like a fashion nowadays. A lot of people do walking in the morning, and sometimes when I'm going to the parks and all that, I see them. And invariably, I make it a point to ask them, so what got you on to exercise? They always say, they show like this or like this. First I wondered, what is it? Double bypass or triple? Unless that situation comes to that extent, we don't take care of the body. It's a fashion, it's very fashionable. Oh, you've had only 2, is it? I've had 3, they say. What? Bypasses. So you wait till that extent. You wait till the body deteriorates before you take charge. So the first step is the physical body. So when you are operating at the physical body level, your inner power will be limited. Now beyond the physical body, there is something called the life force energy, what the Japanese call as ki, the Chinese call it as chi, and in Sanskrit the word is prana. Now when you tap the pranic reserves, the life force energy within you, then your power becomes more behind your actions. Everything which you say will have an impact in the other person's mind. Only then you can lead the way in a more effective way. You know, you must have experienced this, or even here you would have experienced. How many of you have experienced, morning you came very fresh, right? By now your energy would have gone down. Isn't it? You're almost, that's why I'm shouting and talking. Now, why is it that the energy has gone down? You will say, sir, action. What action have you done? You have sat only in the chair the whole day. That too in an AC room. Yet your energy has got depleted. Why? Because this life force energy has reduced. So if you want to be effective in life, whether it's leadership or whatever it is, you have to replenish and keep the life force energy at the maximum level. There are various techniques in the ancient wisdom by which you tap the life force energy. And a person who has a lot of life force energy, the moment he walks in, you can feel his presence. The moment he starts talking, your mind will also open up. It will become cheerful. Then beyond the life force energy is your mind. And when I say mind, there are so many aspects to the mind. You have the conscious mind, then you have the deeper mind. And the deeper mind is again, you can divide the deeper mind into subconscious mind, the superconscious mind, the infinite conscious mind. So many layers of your mind are actually present. Now, you are only aware of the conscious mind, which is superficial emotions and certain analytical abilities of the intellect. That's all you are aware of. But that only constitutes 5% of your total mind. The remaining 95% is hidden to you. You know, there was the psychologists got together and they did some research, and they found that a person like Albert Einstein, who was voted as the most intelligent person of the century, he had used, I believe, only 10% of his total mind. Can you imagine? Albert Einstein. Then what about others? The psychologist writes that for others, most of that 10%, even if you tap that and try to use it, most of that is frittered away in worries and anger and fear and all kinds of negative emotions. So you hardly use 1 or 2% of your total mind. So if you want to become effective, you will have to learn to tap the total powers of the mind. That is the ancient wisdom all about. And when you tap your mind powers, you acquire two qualities. The first is cheer. As I was telling you, your stress levels will come down. You put such a person in any situation, he will always be smiling. He will always be relaxed. The second thing which will happen to you when you tap the powers of the mind is that you acquire what is called as the X-ray vision, clarity in thinking and decision making. This is very, very important for a leader to decide precisely, because in life there are many circumstances where you need to decide at a flash, and your whole life may depend upon that decision. So why I'm calling it X-ray vision is, X-ray has this capacity to wade through your body and read the bones. Similarly, once you gain this wisdom, Such a person, if you go and meet him, he will have that penetrative ability. He can penetrate into anything and clearly see through. Actually, if you go on practicing all this, believe me, a time would come where a person just comes before you. You just look at that person and you know in and out what's going on in his or her mind. What is his past? What is his future? Everything becomes very, very clear. You have that ability within you. Unfortunately, you have not put any effort to tap all these powers. And then beyond the mind is the infinite power, the reality. You have, as I started my talk with the statement, you have infinite powers within you. And when you tap those infinite powers, what can't you achieve? In the ancient wisdom it is said, if you want success, you can achieve it just like that. But provided you tap those infinite powers, because once you tap your infinite powers, you become the creator of your destiny. Because the world is a projection of your own thoughts. The world is a projection of what is happening inside you. According to what is happening inside, you attract good things or negative things in life to you. So, to the extent you have penetrated, when you function at the level of the body, your actions will have very limited power. When you tap more life force energy within you, then your power increases. When you tap the conscious mind powers, your power increases more. But when you go deeper and deeper and tap your inner powers, your power behind your actions will start increasing considerably. And when you tap the infinite powers from within, you can achieve anything you want in life. And not only can you achieve anything, you can also maintain the balance of mind. And one who has achieved this combination, the peace of mind and dynamic action outside, he is what I would call as a person who is truly successful, who has truly learned what management is. Management is not another subject to be studied in the books. It's not a mere degree, but it is awakening. It is that inner awakening which is true management. I think 20 minutes is over, so I'll stop with this. Fine, sir? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yogeshri, and for your very insightful talk. Clearly, I think we all underestimate our potential. Yeah. Okay. We underestimate we underestimate our potential, and there is huge scope for all of us to unleash that. And I think your talk on mindfulness and how it's important to be present in what you're doing and not just keep thinking about the past, I think it was very insightful. I'm sure we have a lot to learn, but I'm going to sort of get straight into the questions because we have several questions, and I'm sure the audience must be very eager to hear this. So one of the questions is from Australia, and it's addressed to Yogeshri. It says, thank you for your enlightening session. I'm a successful entrepreneur and we are planning to expand our business. Please explain how will this wisdom help in furthering our business and achieve our entrepreneurs and our goals.
It's already on. Yeah. Okay. The person who has asked this is an entrepreneur, is it? The person who has asked this question is an entrepreneur?
I think so.
Okay. It's quite interesting because he's introduced himself as a successful entrepreneur. And that is something which I appreciate, because how do we measure success? It is always relative to others, If you get 41% and all others get 40%, then you're a topper. But in ancient wisdom, how does this help in expanding business, in achieving more success, is not relative to others. Whether others have got 40 or 30, it does not matter. What is my inner potential? Have I awakened my infinite potential? Yes or no? That is the question. So how it helps is by this inner awakening. Once the mind powers are awakened, then you can start fixing goals and you can achieve goals with much more ease than what you're doing today. There was a very successful a businessman who met me, and he said earlier, whatever work I was able to complete in 5 hours, I'm able to complete within 1 hour nowadays. Because my energies are not getting dissipated. After I've come to you, sir, he was saying, I don't worry about the past, I don't think of the future, I just focus on what I ought to do in the present. And that has increased my productivity. So that is the way this ancient wisdom helps in achieving goals. Thank you.
Thank you. So the next question is to all the panel. It says, leading the way for the future. About 30, 40 years ago, there was a common sense of purpose to build a nation. Passion came from that. In the present generation, it seems that we don't, he says, don't get me wrong, we aren't burdened by that volume of emotions. Largely, we are distracted and disillusioned. How to bring back that sense of common purpose? Question is to both of you. Yeah, so you could start. Would like to start?
What emotions are they talking about? You read it a little fast. Yeah.
Basically what he says is, we are not bound by similar strong sense of purpose. And we aren't burdened by that volume of emotions.
Yeah.
Earlier there was a feeling that I must do something for my country. That doesn't seem to be there now.
See, it's a very relevant question, because today life has become so mechanical. Every day morning you're waking up, you're finishing your routine, then you're getting into your car, you're going to your office, you're doing some work, a lot of stress is there, and then you come back, and then you say, I'm dog tired, you say. Hey, you're so tired. Then you sleep. The sleep quality is also not good. Again you get up. It becomes so mechanical. And when I went to the United States, life was such that for 5 days they slog it out. And then 2 days they utilize to clean their homes, because maids are a little costly there, not like here. So life has become so mechanical that you never pause even for a split second and think, why am I doing these things? So that is the reason why those emotions, that passion, all those things are going away today, because we don't have time to pause, reflect, and think about what we are doing in life, why we are doing those things. So the solution to that is, I would say, if you can set aside about an hour every day, an hour for yourself, for mastering yourself, to master your mind, to know what your purpose of life is. And then when you get on with your activities, till the last minute of your life, you will be passionate about whatever you're doing. Thank you.
I'll sort of ask you this question in context, because when you played for the country. And you have billions of people's blessings and hearts, everything in your hand when you take to the field. Do you believe there is lesser commitment, lesser passion, lesser feeling of playing for the nation now than it was during your times?
Yes, of course. You see, there was the commitment to honor and keep the tricolor flying high. That was embedded into us right from the beginning. And I think my era of cricketers, of course, there was no money involved, there was no such television or whatever has come. Technology has come into vogue now. And I think the current era of cricketers are very fortunate and lucky to have those facilities provided to them. And that's it, that's the way it goes. I suppose relating to that question again, a little ahead I would like to go. Okay, the best way to progress is to analyze yourself on a day-to-day basis as to how your day has gone. What have you done? How constructive your day went? And that's the way you got to talk to yourself before you get into your deep slumber of dreams and whatever, nightmares, if I may not like to add that word, but I have. So on those basis, analyzing yourself is the best way to progress. Okay, if I have had a bad day on the field, I talk to myself, okay, what went wrong and how should I improve upon myself to help the team. So on those basis, it's very, very important to analyze yourself on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you, sir. This question was from San Francisco. It's on Twitter and it's addressed to Yogi Shri. There's a lot of stress in the corporate world in the US. What can we do so that the wisdom relieves the stress and benefits all of us? Can we do a series of can you do a series of corporate programs?
This is in San Francisco.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, of course. I did visit US last year, and I would be visiting US again. You can inform him that we can have series of programs. But related to the stress, what I would like to mention is that today the human mind has gone haywire, because you have, when I say you, I don't mean you personally, I'm talking of an individual. Everyone has become slaves to their circumstances. That is why the stress factor is very high. You are not a free person. If there is nothing else, see how many, when you have a holiday, today is a Saturday, right? Now, tomorrow, it's a holiday for all of you. What do you do throughout the day? You will either see the television, or nowadays you have the cells and you go on browsing. Some gadget you require to entertain yourself. And supposing, let's say we cut off all that. I cut off your cell phone, your TV connection, just an imagination. Now, after 1 hour, if I ask you, how do you feel? You will say, I'm feeling bored. Isn't it? Bored. To which I'll ask you, bored with whom? Bored with what? You're bored with yourself. And if you yourself are bored with yourself, how do you expect your partner to find you interesting? How do you expect to lead the way? So we have become so dependent. I'm not against usage of cell phones and usage of the technicalities, but the technology. But we have become slaves to everything which we do, and that is what is causing stress today. We have not invested our time and effort in awakening our inner powers. And believe me, when a stressful situation comes, you cannot do anything. What training you have done in your net practice will help there. But suddenly, on a live situation, you cannot do anything. It's like insurance, you know. Every month, if you pay a small amount, when your factory is on fire, it will come and help you. When the factory is on fire, if you go to an insurance company and say, can you insure my factory? I don't think they'll do that. So today, nobody is investing their time for themselves, and that is the root cause of stress. And I don't believe in this quick fix stress management solutions which they are offering nowadays, you know. Like there is a lot of courses, anger management courses have come. They say drink a glass of cold water when you're angry. These are not really great solutions, because when a person is angry, will he be drinking the cold water, or he may even throw it to the other person's face, you know. So these things will not work. The real solution is going deep within. Thank you.
This is the last question. I've been told that we're running out of time, so I'm sorry, we have 3 further questions which we can't answer, but we'll just take this last one. This is also addressed to Yogi Shri. What is the ancient wisdom exactly referring to? Is that meditation, developing self-awareness or relaxation, what should we practice?
Meditation, self-awareness and relaxation, three aspects the questioner has asked. All these three are some of the aspects of the ancient wisdom. See, this ancient wisdom is a complete science of life. You cannot pin it down to meditation or relaxation and all that. As I said, you have a physical body, so there are various set of techniques given to take care of your body, to keep your body in ideal condition. Then you have the life force aspect in you. So again, various techniques are given to keep the supply of life force energy to its maximum level. Then so many techniques, the entire wisdom of the mind is there. Because each one of you, you react to various situations in an emotional way. Supposing somebody comes and shouts at you, and then he goes away, you react within. But then you say, I have forgotten. You have not forgotten anything. That goes deep within your deeper layers of the mind. And they are called psychic impressions. If you give me about half an hour, I can take you to a very deep self-hypnotic meditative state, and all those impressions which you have stored right from young age will start coming out. So those impressions are controlling your behavior today. If you get angry impulsively, however much you try and control, you cannot control, because your impressions are forcing you to behave that way. So the ancient wisdom, that is the main aspect of the ancient wisdom, various techniques by which you go deep within you and clean yourself up, throw out all those impressions, so that you can become a free person, as free as a newborn baby. If you see a newborn baby, it's so peaceful and happy, isn't it? Not serious like all of us. If you bring a child here, the child will be bubbling with energy. Why? Because very less impressions are there. As we go along, we gather a lot of impressions. So the ancient wisdom deals with removing those impressions from the deeper layers of your mind. And it's a new rebirth which will happen for one who practices that.